Micah was from the town of Moresheth in southern Judah. A contemporary of Amos and Isaiah, Micah had a deep sensitivity to the social ills of his day. He prophesied during a period of upheaval and crisis. There was idolatry, those who oppressed the little man, priests and prophets who used their profession for financial gain, and leaders who perverted equity and abhorred justice. This is the environment that prompts Micah to write a scathing critique of the leaders of Israel. Now, please note here, there is no constitutional right to freedom of speech at this point. Micah is courageous in saying and in recording these words. In a rhetorical question, he asked the leaders of Israel, "Don't you know anything about justice?" Micah accused them of creating upheaval in the nation, having a corrupt moral compass that pointed in the wrong directions, haters of good and lovers of evil. Since both the northern and the southern kingdom had strayed from God, he boldly reminded leaders that justice was a part of their very job description. Using graphic metaphorical language, he compared them to heathenish cannibals as they brutally treated and destroyed their people, taking advantage of the poor. He used this shocking language, these shocking illustrations, to emphasize the unjust practices of his day. Now, let's digress a little here. In the second chapter, Micah details the corruption that he sees. He says, "You rob unsuspecting people out for an evening stroll of their coats. You drive women out of their ample homes and make victims of their children, leaving them vulnerable to violence and vice." He says in his prayer that the leaders of Jacob and Israel are hypocrites, for they are accountable for justice in the nation, but they do the exact opposite, twisting and distorting right into wrong and wrong into right. Micah could be on cable news today as he critiques every major societal institution. In government, he says the leaders are building Israel by killing people and committing crimes. Micah proclaims that the judicial system is corrupt, saying that judges are selling verdicts to the highest bidder, advantaging the rich over the poor who could not afford to defend their rights, not even their property rights. Micah does not even spare organized religion, asserting that it was corrupt too. Priests mass marketing their teachings, prophets preaching for the highest fees, religious leaders preaching and twisting doctrine, perverting their message to lavishly amass wealth while deceptively telling people that they are dependent upon God for their subsistence. These leaders were wrapping their evil deeds in religious dress, while their mouths said one thing, their actions said another. They were claiming Yahweh's protection because of their covenant relationship with God, but they were completely ignoring the requirements of the covenant. They were hypocrites. I remind you that Micah speaks these words about the most powerful people in Israel without the benefit of a legally guaranteed freedom of speech. And yet he proclaims that Israel will be destroyed and become like a field to be plowed. Jerusalem will end up as a pile of rubble. Instead of a temple on the mountain, there will be a few scraggly scrubs of pine. Micah and this lesson speak to us as modern Christians. They challenge us to look at our institutions to see if they are corrupted by modern society and the desire to prosper. We are challenged to boldly stand as Micah and speak truth to power, even though it may be unpopular. That's the lesson for this week. Have a great week. Bye.